Louisiana.
I love Gumbo.
Gumbo. Really silky roux.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh goody!
Oh, look at that. Oh, look. Oh.
Whoa. Oh my god. Peanut and butter jelly sandwiches. A 10 out of 10.
Now I'm gonna demolish the French toast that I got.
Bloody good. Chicken fried steak. Why is chicken fried steak not a thing anywhere else? Like, I've never heard of that.
What if the distance between "that looks disgusting" and "can I have another" was only one bite? For years, Europeans have looked at American food and wondered what exactly Americans were thinking. Peanut butter with jelly? Strange. Orange mac and cheese? Suspicious. Steak that is somehow chicken fried? Completely confusing. Green tomatoes deliberately fried? And then there is American barbecue, which to an outsider can look nothing more than a mountain of meat covered in sauce. But here's the problem with making fun of American food. Eventually, someone hands you a plate. You take one bite and suddenly the jokes stop. Today we're looking at 10 American foods Europeans were skeptical of, laughed at, or simply couldn't understand until they actually tasted them. And the deeper you get into this list, the more interesting the story becomes, because this isn't really about whether American food is better than European food. It's about how quickly a cultural assumption could disappear when you actually experience the thing you're judging. As the famous saying goes, "Tell me what you eat and I will tell you what you are." And American food tells a much bigger story than outsiders sometimes expect. Deviled eggs, to a European hearing the name for the first time, sounds almost threatening. What exactly is devilish about an egg? The reaction often changes immediately after the first bite. The yolk is mixed with mayonnaise, mustard, and seasonings, creating something creamy, rich, and surprisingly flavorful. One European reaction captured the transformation perfectly. What sounded strange turned into an explosion of flavor. In fact, one caster joked that America should simply call them angel eggs. Not a bad idea. Fried green tomatoes. Then comes another American idea that seems completely backwards. Green tomatoes. To many Europeans, a green tomato simply means one thing: it isn't ready yet. Americans looked at the same tomato and apparently thought, perfect, put it in the fryer. The result is crispy on the outside, tangy and soft inside. One European taster initially thought they were simply eating the fried coating. Then came the second bite. Suddenly, the supposedly unripe tomato wasn't so ridiculous after all. Cheese curds. Now imagine explaining this to someone unfamiliar with American food. Take little pieces of fresh cheese, fry them, serve them with ranch, and call them dinner. That sounds less like a recipe and more like something invented at 2 in the morning. But in Wisconsin, cheese curds are a serious regional favorite. One European reaction compared them to mozzarella sticks, essentially admitting that fried cheese is difficult to hate. And that's one recurring theme in American food. Sometimes the combination sounds ridiculous until your brain realizes that your mouth actually likes it. Then we reach one of America's ultimate comfort foods, mac and cheese. For some Europeans, even the orange color of American cheese can create suspicion. Why is the cheese orange? But the first bite changes the conversation. Creamy pasta, melted cheese, sometimes bacon, barbecue, or other additions. It is less about elegance and more about comfort. And that's important. Europe has centuries of culinary traditions. America often takes those traditions, combines them with local ingredients, and turns them into something distinctly its own. American cuisine isn't one single style. It's regional, multicultural, and constantly evolving. Peanut butter and jelly. Now we reach the sandwich that has confused generations of outsiders. Peanut butter, jelly. Together. To an American child, that's lunch. To someone who didn't grow up with it, it can sound like a bizarre experiment. But the first bite can be a revelation. One European taster went from admitting she'd never tried one to calling it a 10 out of 10 and a masterpiece. And surprisingly, the sandwich has deeper roots than its childish reputation suggests. An early known recipe combining peanut paste and jelly appeared in 1901, and food historian Ken Albala has described the combination as delicious and original. So perhaps Americans weren't just putting random things together. They were onto something. Chicken fried steak. This may be the most confusing name on the list. Chicken fried steak. There's no chicken, there is steak, and somehow the steak is chicken fried. For Europeans, that alone is enough to stop the conversation. But after tasting it with gravy, the reaction can be completely different. One European taster called it possibly the best meat dish he'd ever tried. Another admitted that after initially failing to make it properly at home, tasting the real thing completely changed his opinion, and suddenly the question wasn't, why would anyone eat this? It became, why isn't this a thing everywhere else? Gumbo. Now we're entering something much deeper than novelty. Gumbo. At first glance, it might simply look like a thick American stew, but gumbo represents something much bigger. The cultural mixing that shaped Southern American cuisine. European, African, and Native American influences came together in the American South, creating dishes that couldn't have existed in quite the same form anywhere else. That's why gumbo is more than food. It's history in a bowl. And when Europeans compare it to a familiar stew from home, something interesting happens. The strange becomes familiar. The unfamiliar becomes comforting. Poboy. In New Orleans, a poboy can be packed with seafood, meat, vegetables, and sauce inside French bread. And when visitors bite into an authentic version, the reaction can be dramatic. Crispy Gulf shrimp, slow-cooked beef, Creole sauce, pepper jack cheese, hot sauce mayo. At that point, it's difficult to dismiss American food as simply greasy or excessive. It's layered, regional, and deeply connected to place. Then comes the food that can start an international argument before anyone even tastes it. Chicago deep dish pizza. Some Europeans look at it and say, that's not pizza. And Chicago answers, that's the point. The crust is deep. The cheese can sit underneath the sauce. You may need a knife and fork, and yes, it can look almost absurdly heavy. But then comes the first bite. One European taster who had never eaten authentic Chicago deep dish before gave it a straight 10 out of 10. Another admitted it wasn't his favorite style, but still acknowledged that it was genuinely good. Maybe that's the lesson. You don't have to prefer something to understand why other people love it. And finally, barbecue. This is where the entire argument about American food starts to fall apart. Because outsiders may see grilled meat, Americans see something much more complicated. Real barbecue is about time, smoke, regional technique, and patience. Texas, Carolina, Memphis, Kansas City. Different regions have developed different traditions, sauces, and methods. And the history itself is multicultural, with Caribbean influences and African, European, and Native American food traditions shaping what became American barbecue. So when a European looks at a plate of American barbecue and thinks it's just meat, they may be missing the 6 hours, the regional identity, and generations of technique behind it. And then they take a bite. One European reaction said it all: bloody glorious. The same person who expected something strange suddenly wanted to drive to the American South just to eat more of it. And maybe that's the real surprise. American food isn't necessarily about proving that America cooks better than Europe. It's about showing what happens when different cultures, ingredients, and traditions collide. Some dishes look strange, some combinations sound wrong, some names make absolutely no sense. But sometimes the distance between absolutely not and I'll have another is only one bite. Because food isn't just ingredients, it's memory, it's culture, it's geography, it's identity. And sometimes the best way to understand another country isn't to argue about it. It's simply to sit down, take a bite, and see what happens. So, which American food would you have judged before trying it? And which one would you actually be willing to try? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy seeing America through European eyes, subscribe, because there's a lot more American culture that looks strange from the other side of the Atlantic until you experience it for yourself.